Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tales of Three, your favorite queer D&D-based podcast. My name is Dusty, my pronouns are they, she, and I play Ivy Nightbreeze Tinkerfay, whose pronouns are she, her.
Hi. Sorry. You didn't say anything funny?
No, I didn't.
Are you not going to?
Maybe I'll do it later, who knows?
It's a surprise.
Just in the middle of the episode. Hello, everyone. My name is Ariana. My pronouns are she, her, and I play Alara Spinelspark, whose pronouns are also she, her. And I'm excited. We're finally, after like 6 months of talking about it, going to premiere our summer outfits.
Woohoo!
Maybe.
Woo!
There's a chance we still won't get there.
Hi, everyone. My name's Waira. My pronouns are she, they, and I play Varys, whose pronouns are he, they. And I have my summer outfit ready.
Yay!
It only took me 6 hours last night.
Is Varys wearing a...
My name is Dracula. My pronouns are any and all. This week, we're spotlighting Cybertopia. Cybertopia is an indie actual play podcast with an ensemble cast of 16 from all across the TTRPG scene, playing a homebrew sci-fi system created by its host in a near-future cyberpunk-esque world.
Cybertopia is back, and it's going punk. And after the corpos threw them under the bus, our former Amazing Corps agents are trying to make sense of it all and find their place in the world once more.
Last thing I remember, the op was going fine, and then everything exploded.
So, it's time to recover.
I mean, hey, so far I've been hungover, beaten up, stole food, had an hour and a half hike, drugged myself half to death, got zapped half back to life. Everything's fine.
Rebuild.
Well, I could dispense eggs again, but the lemonade dispenser is doing steak sauce.
And reconnect with friends, old and new.
Well, look what the trash brought in.
Fortunately though, not everything has been lost.
The tea dispenser still works.
Search for Cybertopia AP anywhere you find your podcasts.
A note regarding content warnings. This campaign is a dark fantasy that deals consistently with topics of body horror, complicated relationship dynamics, emotional distress, fantasy violence, gore, mechanized spiders, mental health and illness, profanity, and romantic and sexual relationships. A full list of episode-specific content warnings can always be found in the show notes of each episode. Last time, our trio and Basil experienced some big revelations, with Varys recognizing their own handwriting in an old book passed down by the Nightbreeze family that detailed the wizard quest. This prompted Ivy to realize that the map she had been carrying all this time was drawn in her own hand. Basil learned that he had a brother who was alive and well, and as the group pondered yet another strange mystery, they were summoned by the Queen. Titania spoke with Alara and Basil, and the two assured the Queen that Alara was confident she could help with the Hydro Dam. In a private meeting with Varys, Titania asked more questions about the mysterious man Varys met in the Unseelie. She also inquired about his earring, to which Varys declined to tell her of the celestial voice and energy that guided their hand when making it. Finally, the Queen met with Ivy and gave us major helicopter parent vibes, but more importantly, she gave Ivy a sending stone with a direct line to the Queen. We pick up now with our trio heading back to the estate. So we go back to the Nightbreeze Tinkerfay estate. When you arrive, there is actually a letter on the table that kind of like glows as you walk in and like pulls your attention. Basil and Ivy, it is familiar to you. Do either one of you pick it up?
Yeah, Basil will go pick it up.
Well, it's addressed to Ivy.
He hands it to Ivy.
You get close to it. It says Ivy.
Ivy looks at it.
For you, darling.
Thanks.
You open it. It's from your mom. And it basically is like, meet me in the lab.
It's so pretentious for nothing.
XOXO.
Gossip.
No,
girl.
it doesn't actually say XO. It just says Ivy, meet me in the lab. And then like down at the bottom as like an afterthought, it says bring your friends if you want.
Obsessed. I think she laughs a bit. And she's like, all right, let's go visit my mom.
Alara's excited. She gets to see another lab.
When you're done, drop by my lab as well.
All right. 2-for-1 special, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts walking.
Are her friends invited too?
I mean, I guess so. No, I'm kidding. Of course you are.
Basil goes, no.
No, did I say so?
Actually, no.
Ivy leads you through some winding halls, and you start going upstairs instead of downstairs this time, which is probably a nice welcome for Varys.
Yep. It's so good.
As you walk, you do realize that the ambiance and like general aesthetic of the corridors that you're walking start to get darker, almost like if she were to walk through these halls holding something that was adverse to light, it wouldn't be affected.
Interesting.
You get to this door that's made out of steel. Ivy stops in front of it and goes, all right, this is a place where you really don't want to touch anything because you really genuinely just never know what's covered in poisons, toxins, things that will make your legs give out for whatever reason, things that will make you talk gibberish for a little bit. She's like reminiscing.
Learn from experience, have we?
Unfortunately.
I see.
Yes.
Alara clasps her hands behind her back.
All right. And she pushes open the door.
And you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it very much looks like a standard laboratory. There's tables with like Bunsen burners and beakers, and there's, familiar to Alara, things bubbling out of them. The smell is a little familiar to the both of you. It reminds you a little bit of when we were back in Osrin, when Alara was like stuffed up in a room making acid and other concoctions and things. It's not the same smell, but it is a similar vibe, except there's like a huge vent above the tables that is like sucking out air. When you open the door, the sound hits you. It's very kind of loud in there. And it's a pretty big space, and there's tables all over the place with different types of things in vials and bottles. You see, notes and things. It's pretty well organized, and you don't see Vacelle. Ivy, you know that there is like a back part of this room.
Mm-hmm.
It's Vacelle's testing ground. Do you walk towards there because you don't see her here?
Do I hear anything?
You just hear the noise of the vent that's like sucking out air, yeah.
Yeah, I think she'll walk towards it.
You walk past a bunch of tables, like rows and rows of all of these tables. As you get deeper into the room, you do see that there are some people who are working. I think off to like the right side, there is like a glass door, and inside of it you see people who are pretty much in like hazmat suits from head to toe. They are in like protective gear, they have goggles, they have big boots and gloves on, and you see all different brightly colored liquids that they seem to be working with. Some people will kind of nod as you walk by, and then you get to a door. You know that this is where your mother's essentially testing grounds are. Alara is just following, eyeing everything, She's never seen probably a lab, alchemical-ish, right? Lab this size before. Do you walk into the next room?
Yeah.
So you open the door, and this room is dark. The floors are black, the walls are black. There's some slivers of light that are coming in through like kind of small oblong windows, very, very high up, like it's a very, very high ceiling. Everybody make a perception check, actually.
Ooh, first roll of several episodes.
First roll. I think we rolled like once or twice last game. I got a 3.
9.
There's no way.
Come on. Natural 20.
It's not a nat 20. I'm just surprised that I beat Ivy.
Honestly, fair.
17.
Nice. I mean, I don't know what you're looking at. Alara's like peering into the darkness. She don't see shit. Varys, so you also don't see anything at first, and then you see like a reflection just for like a second glimmer off way down into this open space and kind of to the left side.
He almost casts shield, but he stops himself. Like it's very close. He does the semantic components, almost says the verbal, and cuts it off.
You realize as you cut it off that it is just like a movement of something, like a glare, And as you focus in on that area, you see a person laying belly down, propped up on their elbows, You can just make out the shininess of some sort of like device. It kind of looks like gun-like, just for like or a rifle, I'll say. It's in the shape of a rifle. You start to hear a very like robotic voice going, calculating, calculating, calculating. Ma'am, my vital signs are rapidly declining. Death is imminent. Goodbye. And then you hear a trigger pull. And you watch this flash of this like toxic green color shoot out of this rifle. And then you hear it like ping into something across the room. Subject is deceased. The person stands up. You all quickly realize it is Vacelle. She's wearing this like dark colored like camo outfit. And her hair is like pulled up into like a bun sitting high on top of her head. She looks over at the three of you, looks over to the voice that you all heard, and she just goes, all right, Alfie, again? And you hear some like mechanized sounds. Yes, ma'am, again. And then she walks over to you, the three of you. Welcome.
Afternoon.
I trust that your audience with the Queen went well.
Ivy nods. You know, I don't think she's as mad anymore, which is nice.
When are you departing? Today. We're gonna get our stuff together. She said you have some stuff for us. Vacelle nods. Actually, Alara, I have some stuff for you. In particular. Oh, okay.
Ivy is inching towards Alfie.
As you get closer, Ivy, he looks up at you, and as you get closer, everyone will see that Alfie is a mechanized humanoid that stands about 2 feet tall. That, Ivy, you grew up with. You've known Alfie your whole life, pretty much.
Yeah.
The creation of, probably Basil built him.
Mm-hmm.
For Vacelle to test things on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go over Varys with,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. He's intrigued by this tiny little thing.
Alfie gives you a 2-fingered salute. Very, very, like...
Robotically?
Robotic, but very clearly done from what he has observed from Ivy 2-finger saluting.
Varys crouches down to its level immediately.
Hello?
Good afternoon. Ivy, is this the person? No, right?
He's a robot. His name's Alfie.
Hello, Ivy. Long time. No see.
It really has been.
I would say that I missed you, but I do not experience Eladrin emotion.
It's alright, I know it's there.
And Varys, you see on Alfie's, like going down Alfie's chest, are all kinds of like vital signs, statistics. And you hear like, little beeps and clicks and things like that.
He's looking at the numbers and like all the measurements on it. He's like, Ivy watches him try to piece together what the fuck this is. But he has no basis to go on, so you don't even want to make an intelligence check for him. I don't think that he has any idea what this could be. He looks up at you, Ivy, and says, what in the Seven Hills is it saying on it?
Oh, those are, like it's vital signs, basically. What happens is my mom tests out, like, poisons and things like that, and then Alfie will tell her what's happening, essentially. Like, for example, she was able to test a paralyzing agent on him before I left, and he was able to read what parts of him paralyzed the fastest, how long they stay paralyzed for, and if there were any lasting damage to, like, the cortex.
So, he's not sentient, right? Like...
No, he doesn't have a soul.
Nor do I have feelings.
I see.
She pats Alfie's head.
He shakes. He like kind of mechanically nods his head up and down.
It's fascinating that you can just read that sort of thing. We don't have that in Elisor at all. I didn't even have a base of reference for what this was.
Fair enough. My father built him, helped my mother with all of her concoctions. Better than, live test subjects, right?
He just kind of slowly nods. Yes, that I imagine that would be Very useful.
With a 9 on her stealth, Alara has full-on walked away from Vacelle and made her way over. And she comes up behind the both of you, and she just goes, "How do you make it talk?" And Vacelle, from now across the room, as she's like gathering some things off of a table, and she walks over with her with like a little, almost like a briefcase, like a bag, but that has like a hard bottom type thing. "To be honest, I am not sure. You will have to ask Basil. He made it for me. I just shoot Alfie with things." Alfie nods. Alara also nods, and she looks a little bit like, and he can't, I mean, I know because, you know, I have Norman and I have Pearl, but, you know, I know that they can't really feel anything. But I like to think that they can, you know? Vacelle kind of shrugs.
You can program them to feel things, but Alfie's not programmed to feel anything.
Alara nods. Do you mind if I, like, just examine him? And then she looks at Alfie. "Alfie, do you mind if I, examine you?" And Alfie looks up to Vacelle, and Vacelle shrugs. "Just do not touch where the poison entered." Alara will get down.
Chris will get him back away so Lara can have full.
She's gonna make a investigation, I guess?
Yeah.
Ooh, 16 plus 10 is a 26. She's just looking for comprehension of like how he was built and kind of how he functions. I think she finds that he has like on his left hip is kind of where like his battery pack is. There's like a little bulge out, like almost like he's got like a little belt on with like a little pouch, and that's where like his battery is stored. She reaches into her pocket and takes out like a little notebook and just like makes some notes. "This is really interesting. Alfie, you're super cool. I have been told many times." And she like kind of scoots around him.
A humble specimen.
When you like kind of skirt around him, there is a blue gold star sticker on the back of his head, and it's faded around the edges. Like it looks like it's been there for a very long time.
Alara looks at it and kind of points at it and looks at Ivy.
Hmm?
"Did you do that?"
She looks around and she smiles and she's like, "Yeah, I did." I was very young. Kind of surprised it's still there.
"I do not bathe."
I know, Alfie, I know. Turns to the two of them and she's like, "But his clothes do get washed, just so we're clear."
"In the laundry basket.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like the poison doesn't contaminate the rest of the basket?"
No, this one was built specifically for poisons and the like. She motions to a basket that's got a hood over it, and it's like built more industrial.
Nice.
That one has greater restoration in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vacelle, you hear the bag like snap shut, which I think pulls all of your attention. And she's just standing there, kind of with her head cocked to the side, like, "Are we finished?"
No. He's so cute.
Ivy holds out her hand for a high five from Alfie.
Alfie high fives you.
Yeah.
Shove him in your pocket, Alara. No.
Alara high fives Alfie too. "Varys, you have to do it."
He high fives Alfie.
"Yeah." Vacelle's like, "As much as I'm sure this is quite interesting, I have work to do." And she reaches into the bag and she pulls out 3 bottles, and she like does like a double take, and like you see that they have like this like murky color, like this greenish hue to them. She puts them back in, she reaches in, she takes out 3 more. These are like reddish in color. They look very familiar to like healing potions. She hands 2 to you, Ivy, and then she takes out another 2, and she hands 2 to Varys, and then she takes out another 2, and she hands 2 to Alara. "Just double check that those are not actually poison.
Varys will examine his.
Would be a very fatal mistake."
Ivy just blinks at her.
Everybody make a medicine check. Ooh, Alara got an 18. Yep, healing.
Cool. Varys got a 16.
17.
Yep, everybody knows that it is a healing potion. The first one she pulled out were not healing potions. And then she reaches into the bag and she pulls out a little case. It's like a transparent case, and you all see in there's 4 crossbow bolts. The heads of the crossbows are tipped with like that green color. And as she hands them to Alara, she goes, "Be careful, they are poison." And Alara nods. "Yeah, I see the theme going on here." So she takes out another like transparent case, and you see that there's 6 darts in it. They're also all tipped with that green. She goes, "I would suggest that you divide them up between the 3 of you. I can give you 2 extra cases unless someone wants to take all 6.
Ivy shrugs. She's like, I don't really need any on me. Laura carries everything anyways.
They are paralytic darts, and in a pinch, and she just kind of like makes like a little prick with her, like a...
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll take a few of those.
Sure, yeah.
She pulls out 2 empty cases and divvies them up. "Be very careful. It happens," and she snaps like that.
How long does it last for?
"Alfie," and you hear like this like mechanical whirring as Alfie is like processing. "Depending upon the species, anywhere from 5 to 50 minutes.
Good to know.
Well, that is all I have."
Appreciate it, Vacelle.
"Thank you." Vacelle waves her hand. "You are going to get yourself in trouble with that." Alara
With
kind of
what?
nods like, "I know," saying thank you to everyone.
Oh, the reoccurring thank yous. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She kind of just like looks down at her shoe.
Do you know how many times I've had to wave my hand off?
Oh,
Like,
I
wave
cannot
my hand?
imagine. No.
It's part of her charm. Just smiles, winks at Alara.
Ivy has a shit-eating grin on her face.
She blushes a little.
All right, I suppose we should let you get back to work.
Yep.
Vacelle's just nodding.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll excuse us.
Bye. It was nice to, we'll see you when we come back. And Vacelle waves.
I'll see you later.
Ivy, a moment.
Oh, yeah, she walks over.
She puts her arms out. All right, come on, make it quick.
Oh, and she hugs you.
She gives you like a stiff hug.
Yeah.
And then she like puts her hands on both of your shoulders. "Be careful.
I will.
I will see you soon."
I'll see you soon. And she like pats her mom's arm as she walks away, yeah.
"All right, Alfie. Assume the position." And you just hear mechanical movements. And you get back out into the hallway. "Your mom's really cool, but also really weird."
I think you could say the same about my dad, too.
Yeah, maybe weird, like, maybe dark and menacing is more what I was thinking.
Ivy laughs.
She just struggles a bit. Is it odd that it is the most comforting presence that I've experienced so far?
Alara shakes her head, yes. Mm-hmm.
She's very blunt.
Which I can appreciate, honestly.
Mhm.
And she made your dad make a robot so she could test killing things.
Oh,
on
she
it.
didn't make him do it. It was the 5th anniversary present.
Alara giggles.
What was she doing before Alfie?
I don't know if we want to know.
Ivy's like, I know, if you want to know.
No.
It was people, right? Other people?
Of course it was.
Right.
It was prisoners.
Oh my god.
That makes the most sense, actually.
That's awful. It doesn't make sense.
This is much more humane.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Alara's like running to the lighter parts of the hallway. Like, you know how you said it got dark?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like, I have to get out of here.
It's like, I can't think about this anymore.
No.
All right, so to Basil, right?
We are just checking things off our list today.
We
We
are.
are.
Jinx.
Now you can't talk, Ivy.
Ivy points at him. Yeah, so they traverse the entire length of the estate, basically, from top to bottom.
Basil's making them get their steps in.
Mm-hmm. And down to the basement, where Basil is doing Basil things.
When they walk in, Basil is literally pulling apart the most complex looking weapon you've ever seen. It should be a sword, but there's parts to it, mechanical parts to it. He's got his big ass goggles on. Just
Aw.
like zooming in. There's sparks flying everywhere.
Obsessed with this man.
Mm-hmm. He hears you coming. He's like, oh, come on in. Just make yourself at home. Almost done.
Alara goes and stares at the gems.
Ivy immediately goes to look at the other weapons, especially the one encased, the floating knife.
She is obsessed with that floating knife.
Mhm.
It's cool.
After a moment, Basil takes off his goggles and sits on the side and puts he like waves his hand over a few arcane sigils on the table, and the sword vanishes All right, so I have a few gifts for you as well. I'm sure Vacelle's given you a few as well.
Poison and paralytics.
Of course.
Ivy brandishes the little case on her hip.
Now you be careful not to nick yourself with those, right?
Yes, 5 to 15 minutes.
Grace is my middle name.
Yes, of course it is. Gestures to the wall with the black smudge. It's absolutely right. Mm-hmm.
And the chair that has a protective bubble over it.
He smiles. The picture of Grace. So I have a few things for you, Laura, as well.
She turns and comes over.
One moment. And he kind of ducks down beneath the table, pulls out a drawer, which he removes a long case from, and stands back up and puts it on the table. He clicks it open. This case is weird, first of all. It is a bolt case, Alara, you recognize, but the inside is insulated
Okay.
with like rubber and other grounding materials.
Mm-hmm.
So these are volatile. They are bolts with a charge of lightning energy.
Cool.
Depending on how you hit them or hit your targets, they may expel more energy than you would typically expect. So be careful not to shoot people near your friends. That's all.
Okay.
And don't touch the tips. And as he says that, you see the tip of them are kind of outlined in like this light sky blue almost. And then they seem to crackle with energy every once in a while.
Cool.
Yeah.
She puts them in her pocket.
Yeah, I was gonna say he closes the case and hands it to you.
Thank you.
Of course. And waves his hand. And of course, he pulls out another little tiny, like a very small box. And he hands it to Varys. And Varys opens it, and he is revealed like a kind of silver, almost like decorative belt buckle that'll clasp around the one he currently has. So this is a secret dagger. I noticed you have an affinity for them. So this is for if you get patted down and your weapons confiscated. This blends in perfectly. I know what it's like adventuring, you know. One never knows what you'll run into. Always good to have something on hand. Well, I appreciate that very much, Basil. Of course. You thinking about it, says Ivy. I have something for you as well.
Oh?
I do. If you'd come over here.
She does immediately.
He pulls out another case. This one is much larger. You cannot tell what might be inside. It's like square. And he pops the clasps on it and flips it open. And you see it's a sickle. The handle is like stained very like dark, kind of navy blue with silver filigree.
Ooh.
And the blade itself it's definitely made of typical metal that weapons are forged from, but it looks sharper than any weapon you've seen him produce, which is terrifying in itself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it's also bone white, which is odd. There's designs etched in it that are kind of like, they're just flowy filigree, essentially. They don't seem to have any rhyme or reason to them. It's all design based. And he says, so this is a very special sort of sickle that will require you to spend some time with it, for it to get familiar with you, and you with it. We call this sort of thing attunement. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So once you attune to it, should take about an hour. It may reveal some new skills for you, such as, when you throw it, if you hold up your hand, it will appear back into your hand after being dispersed. And it has a little extra. If you hit something especially hard, it has the ability to take some of the damage you've inflicted on the person and revitalize yourself with it.
That's so cool.
Yes. Depending on how close you become with this item, the stronger the effect, I've noticed. Which was honestly, an unexpected outcome, but I'm not upset about it. The main thing I want to tell you about it, do not tell anyone that 1, I made you it, and 2, that it can do that.
All right. You got it.
You 3 are the secret bearers. Do not expose it. It is necromancy, which is hush hush here. So,
How did you accidentally do necromancy?
Okay, so the necromancy aspect of it. So the necromancy aspect of it was not an accident for me.
Oh, okay.
It is the extra oomph that was unexpected.
Okay.
How did you accidentally do necromancy? Okay, so this man.
The crystal I used to enchant it with had more energy to it than I had anticipated. So
Where can I find some of those energy crystals?
they're around everywhere. This one in particular, he looks around. I'm gonna have Basil make a perception check. Natural 20 for Basil.
Ooh.
Are there any butterflies in his fucking basement?
No.
Awesome. He looks at you guys and says, so that one in particular came from the in-between.
What is that?
So, you know, there's a light side, there's a dark side, and then there's like a grey area of sorts.
Okay.
That's the in-between.
Cool.
Necromancy is very commonly practiced there, as well as light magics and darker magics. It's sort of an anything goes area.
You know, the in-between.
So this is for you, and he hands it to you, Ivy, and there is a sheath that comes with it.
Ivy's like fingers were like twitching towards it, like
Yeah.
wanting to take it so bad, but not wanting to just grab it from her father's hands.
He smiles. He loves making new things, you know that.
Mm-hmm. And she loves playing around with the things that he makes.
Mm-hmm. I've been seeing you stare at that knife forever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that knife does something similar to the sickle, the appearing and disappearing thing. So
Mm-hmm.
it's only natural, meant to be.
She immediately like puts it in the sheath and like puts it on her belt. She's like, I will attune to it when I've got a spare hour.
Perfect. And finally, for all three of you, and he opens a drawer, another one like a kind of like a wider drawer than most, and has deeper depth, and he pulls it out and he takes out a couple of jars, or vials I should say. Potion bottles. 6 in total, 2 each. So one of those bottles for each of you is a potion of water breathing, lasts for the duration of about an hour and a half. And the other one is a potion of water walk, which only lasts for about 30 minutes.
Cool.
I assume they'll come in handy with your task at hand.
Sounds like it.
And I think that's about all I have for all three of you. Any questions, comments, concerns?
No, I need you said you had a book, like a smaller version of everything that we went over.
That's right. One moment.
I would be really awful if I didn't go with that.
It would. He goes into his drawer and kind of like searches through a bunch of things. And he pulls out a little manual because he knows he set it aside somewhere. He just can't remember where. He has like a little pocket-size manual. It's quite dense though. And he hands it to you, Alar. Should have everything you need in there. Designs, schematics, definitions for everything, full breakdown of the dam's functions. So should be good to go.
She smiles and takes it, and she goes, "Thank you."
He waves his hand again. I know that you're polite and you're raised to be so, but you really must stop thanking people. Outside of this city, well, not even the city, outside of this part of the city, people will take full advantage of that.
It just comes right out.
I know, you must stop it. Stop practicing.
I'm going to learn how to give curses just so you aren't able to say it anymore.
Gratitude. Much obliged.
Yeah, much appreciated is a good option.
Much appreciated.
Or I appreciate it, as Ivy and Varys has been saying. Anything but thank you.
I'll do my best.
Good. That's all I can ask. The last thing I want to hear is that some good folks friends of my daughter got into trouble because they were polite. So,
Well, if it was any one of us, it would be me.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna start carrying around a spray bottle. Think.
damn it.
Don't do it.
With that being said, Ivy, I do want to speak with you in private for a moment, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't be long.
We'll go wait somewhere else.
Appreciate it.
Why don't you go back to
Appreciate it back to you.
Why don't you two go back to my room and I'll meet you there?
She nods.
All right, we'll see you up there.
Bye.
See you.
And they leave.
After they leave, he listens for the footprints. Her footsteps just fade. He looks at you and says, "Quite the friends you've got there. Are you sure you weren't coerced? You're safe, right?"
She laughs and nods. Honestly, we're all a weird bunch. But you know, they're good.
Are they?
She nods. In their own ways. It's hard to describe, I feel like. You know, I've always been a big proponent of you are who you choose to be. And they both, most of the time, choose to be good. Alara always chooses to be good.
To a fault, it almost seems.
To a fault.
That's alright. If there's ever a flaw to have, that is not the worst.
That is very true.
Jokes aside, Ivy, do be careful. And he holds out his arms.
She hugs him.
And he holds you very close. I don't know what I would do if something happened to you, but you should know that I'm very proud of you for going out and doing things outside of your comfort zone and by taking this job on. I just want you to be safe and to come home, alright?
I will.
Okay. And gives you another just squeeze.
I really like being out with them. And it made me realize how much I prefer not being cooped up all day.
He nods, and he kind of lets you out of his grasp, reluctantly a little. Some of the closest bonds we'll ever make are always outside of where we grew up. Found family is just as important as the family you have back home.
You know, I would really like to learn about your party at some point.
I'd love to tell you someday.
When I come back.
Sure, this sounds like a plan. Do be safe out there.
I will.
If you make dumb decisions, cover it up. No one needs to know. He winks.
She nods. We never make mistakes. We never make mistakes.
No, I assumed not. Don't come back right away if you don't want to, despite what the Queen may say. Take all the time you want and need. I'll cover for you.
She smiles and does the two-fingered salute.
He smiles. I love you.
I love you too. I'll see ya.
I'll see you.
And she walks upstairs. When Varys and Alara do get upstairs, they see that the third sets of garment bags are now laid out on the bed.
Alara's having a panic attack. She looks at Varys.
Bia's snoring in her bed right now.
Aww.
I think Pearl and Norman are snuggled up with her.
Oh,
yeah.
her little outgoing leash is next to the bed, and her little outgoing harness is also by the bed.
She looks at Varys, and then she looks at the garment bag, and then she looks at Varys, and then she looks at the garment bag.
Are you alright?
I don't know. There's no way that you have to wear fancy clothes when you're out adventuring in the Fae, right? It's gotta be.
We are representing the Queen, so for all I know.
But what if we have to get in there, and I'm gonna get all greasy because I'm gonna be working with pipes and things, or if we have to fight the monster, it's gonna get messy. So I'm sure it has to be very practical clothing.
I would assume so. Also, they do have those hampers for a reason. So
She sighs.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Open yours.
Why
Well, because
me?
yours will give an indication of what mine's gonna look like and whether or not I need to run away.
He narrows his eyes.
Also, couldn't we just wear our own clothes? Do you think someone would actually come and be like, hey, you can't wear your own clothes? It sounds very stupid, right?
It does. But I honestly wouldn't put it past them. So
Yeah.
alright. Varys and Alara is gonna see in the garment bag. Adventuring gear that is the clothing material is a lot lighter than what they are accustomed to wearing. It's clear that it's made for summer weather. Varys' garment bag holds a pair of black pants. They're a little bit looser. The fabric is very airy. The shirt is a white, deep V-neck shirt, sleeveless, with armholes that are a little bit wider for more breathability. There's a vest that goes over top. The collar of the said vest is lined with gold filigree, and it kind of goes down where the buttons clasp and along the bottoms as well, where some more designs kind of come up from the bottom. And there's this sash that goes over the vest. That kind of goes from the right shoulder down to the left hip. And then at the top shoulders, there are 2 gold clasps where either a cape could go or something like that and clip on. There's a couple of extra belts, like pouches and stuff as well. And there seems to be bracers and a pair of boots. The vest, the sash, and the bracers are all like this dark burgundy red to a lighter burgundy. They all have kind of gold filigree on them as well. He has new black adventuring boots.
Alara opens hers and she sees very light, like off-white, almost like tannish, short sleeve collared shirt that has like almost like a deep V-neck. And it has this like leafy green embroidery on the collar and like going down like where the buttons are. It has high-waisted shorts that are this like dark brown, almost black. And they have like these like green stripes going down them. And they have a pocket on, like a deep pocket on each side. And it also looks like it has like a utility belt. And she looks at it and she's kind of like shaking her head. Okay, I mean, I personally think it's a little bit fancy for running around being an adventurer, but this is the Feywild, so, you know, I'm embracing their dress style.
Fair enough.
She like plops down on the bed.
You know, they're not too bad, honestly. I expected more a fancy outfit, to be honest.
More fanfare.
Yeah.
Pizzazz.
He kind of like reaches in and he finds 2 brooches as well.
Ooh.
And he takes them out and sets them on top of the outfit. Does yours have brooches as well?
She reaches into the pockets of her shorts and she pulls out an artificer brooch. It has 1 gem in it.
Varys's brooches, one has a single pink gem. The other one has 2 blue gems in it.
Why do you get 2? Because you're a Whizbarian?
He hangs his head in defeat. You know, I'm not honestly sure. I'll have to ask Ivy when she returns. Also, Whizbarian? Not a thing.
Well, you are a thing.
I am, but I'm 2 separate. You can't just take 2 words, combine them, and expect them to be a word.
You can. It's actually fun to do it that way.
Ivy walks in saying, Barbard?
Barbard? What are you going to say? Hi, I'm Varys. I'm a wizard, barbarian. It's so mouthy, you know? Wordy. Varys, the Whizbarian. What did you say, Ivy?
Barbard?
No.
Varys the Barbard. Sounds like barber.
Barbizard.
Barbizard.
How did the talk go with your father?
He was okay.
Good.
Check your bag. What are you wearing?
Yes, please. Show us what you've got in your 3rd bag.
Oh, she goes over to it and unzips it and pulls out 2 separate pieces. The top is like a structured leather vest almost. It looks like it'll probably be crop top level on her. In the front, instead of like normal ties, there's silver clasps that hold it together. Very like reminiscent of a butterfly. She's got like leather straps on the top of it. There's clasps much like Varys's outfit for if she wanted to attach like a cloak or something to it. And then she pulls out the bottoms. They are essentially shorts. They're shorts that split in the front, so it like goes into a V shape around her thigh. And she sort of digs into the rest of it, doesn't find anything else other than those 2 pieces, and goes over to her wardrobe and pulls out that blue fabric that you've seen her wear many, many times.
She loves a piece of blue fabric.
Mm-hmm. But you notice it's the only one in there. And then she pulls out her belts and her boots and stuff and sets it on the thing as well. And she looks over at your outfits and sees the brooches and she goes, oh. And she goes over to her nightstand and pulls the drawer out and grabs a brooch. Hers looks different. Hers doesn't have a colored gem in it because she's had it for so long. Hers has like a diamond on the top.
Very fancy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And she throws it onto the pile of clothes.
We're supposed to go around dressed like this, I suppose.
I mean, do you want to go naked?
No, but what's wrong with what we're wearing?
She just like looks you up and down and shrugs and goes and puts her clothes on.
Alara also goes and gets dressed, and she's gonna add all of her belts and buckles. She's got so she has a belt, like where a belt would go that comes with the outfit that has like a pouch on the side. And then she used to only have one leather strap on her leg. She adds a second one for like more things. She's taking her jacket, so the prophecy is gonna come true of Alara wearing shorts with her jacket. And everyone thinking she's naked underneath. Oh, and she puts on her boots of spider climb that we got from wherever the hell we got them from.
Oh, hell yeah.
They're like brown leather boots that they come up to like her upper calf and they lace up. And you see she's wearing like high socks that just like poke out over it.
Varys does himself up, but he's got 3 brooches to contend with now. So
3?
Yeah, because one of them he got a while ago from
The brooch of shielding.
Yeah, from like
That's right.
wherever the fuck they found it. Probably the town that doesn't exist anymore.
Brimford.
So we put the 2 in staggering positions, like one on like I think it's the right side.
Triangle.
No, he's just gonna put 2 there, and he's gonna put one on his belt. So the 2 that denote his classes, I guess, he's gonna put on his chest, and the one that is for the shield, he's gonna put on his belt.
Cool.
And he also attaches the gift from Vacelle and his old cape to the clasps, and puts all of his belts and buckles and shit on.
Yeah, everyone's just clinking.
Yeah. Ivy walks out and she's modified a dagger, like thigh strap, to hold her sickle.
Oh, cool.
So she's attaching that as she walks out. You think her hair is half up and half down. You think she's also got some flowers through it, maybe.
Aww.
Alara's hair is the same as it always is.
Everybody looks great. Is it comfortable?
She like shakes the arms of her flowy shirt. Now I get why poet shirts are all the rage.
They're very comfortable. I'm not sure how I feel about this yet. He looks down and there's just like a deep ass V.
Alara also has a V. She looks at her V. She's like, me too.
They all have V's.
Yep.
So does Ivy.
We'll get used to it though.
He's got his fucking bare ass arms exposed. He feels weird.
This man is ripped.
Yeah. he's
This
jacked.
man is jacked.
He like crosses his arms and they bulge. He's like, I don't like this.
Alara's like, she's staring at Varys's biceps, transfixed.
Ivy nudges Alara.
Hi. Are you ready?
Are you?
Well, actually, no.
I can leave the room.
Why?
To what end? Varys is attaching potion bottles to his gear.
This feels really cool. It feels like, we're going out there. We're gonna do it. We're getting all like I've never gotten like dressed to go on a mission before. She like sits down on the bed and she reaches into her pocket and she takes out a worry stone and she starts kind of like playing with it with both of her hands. And she looks up at the both of you with a little bit of like worry on her face. She's quiet for a few seconds and then, okay, so I've kind of been thinking, and I know that we're kind of like about to go back out into the world, right? And we're gonna go and hopefully help this town and these people and do like a little adventuring thing. I just I think that we keep saying that we should talk about some things, right? Mainly probably, she takes a deep breath, what happened in the woods with the book and Minnie and all that. Because I think it can be really easy to just not talk about stuff, right? And I realize that, well, we don't actually know each other very well. And I guess I just want to make sure that if we go back out there, or when we go back out there in general, and we maybe get into some kind of confrontation again with people, right? That our first thought or action isn't murder or violence, you know? And she looks from one to the other.
I think she looks to Varys.
Varys is thinking about what to say. I don't think that murder is obviously the first option when you fight against people, but sometimes, the situation calls for it, unfortunately. Now, I will admit that sometimes I have a tendency to jump the gun on it, as I'm sure you know, or have come to realize. But when you're adventuring, not everything can be solved with talking.
She kind of nods. I understand that sometimes, it's when you're put in situations where you have to fight for your life, that sometimes that is the option. I don't love it, but I get it. I just think for me that the part that I am struggling the most with everything that happened is, and she's silent, because I think that it's so difficult for her to like try to talk or like remember the events in general. But she kind of like steals herself, and like gathers herself, and she says, "It was a really awful thing, all of it. Well, when it got to a point where we won," and she does like air quotations, because they were basically knocked out and tied up and very much defenseless. Both of your immediate reactions was to kill them.
He nods slowly, listening.
And I'm not, I think you guys know already, but like, I'm not okay with that, And I don't like that you both seemed okay with it.
I can appreciate that. I understand. I think that in that moment, I don't know about you, Ivy, but I was operating on, a mixture of things, I suppose. Adrenaline and anger, certainly, but also, in the past for me, I have a tendency to struggle with making a decision based entirely in empathy. I tend to more lean towards the logical side of what is the best solution to this outcome. And it is not always kind. I'm trying to do better, but it's a habit I'm trying to break. And in that moment, I made a judgment call that it would be best to not have to deal with them again later, for you to not have to look over your shoulder every time you go to sleep, and for us not to possibly have to deal with them again later, maybe coming back with reinforcements. So I was going to kill them to make sure it didn't happen. But I understand that taking a life while they are unable to fight back is not okay. I just forgot that in the moment.
I think her eyes go a little bit wide when she hears you say you forgot that in the moment. Because for her, it's very much, how is that something that someone could forget?
I think the problem Ivy is having right now is she's realizing that everything she has to say is not conducive to what's happening. So I think she's just going to wait it out a little bit more, because she doesn't want this to turn into a thing. Because I truly feel like she thinks that was sort of like, that was one of those situations that doesn't happen all the time. Like, yeah, for sure, if they were just random people attacking them, she wouldn't have jumped straight to death. But because it was people who were going after Alara and would not stop going after Alara, she's like, yeah, no, that's logical. But she also doesn't know how to explain that to Alara in a conducive way. I think she picks up like a paperweight or something and is looking it over as you talk, just sort of like not meeting anybody's gaze, but she's obviously listening. I think you can tell by the way that she's doing this absentmindedly, but it's in this way that's like she's listening.
Mm-hmm.
like her facial movements will react to what things are saying. She's not just like dissociating and not listening.
Varys corrects himself and says, sorry, not forgot. It's more like it was a secondary issue.
She nods. Well, I guess that's the thing, right? It's kind of like a primary issue for me. Maybe issue is not the word, but I just worry that if I wasn't there and this happened, and I know it couldn't have happened without me because it was all because of me, but that's not what I mean. Like, just in general, I guess. I just worry about what you two would have done if I wasn't there to. She's like struggling for her words. To try to, I guess, to stop you. I don't know.
Without looking up from what she's looking at, Ivy says, if this were a random attack, if they were just burglars or petty thieves that attacked us on the road, no, it wouldn't have come to that. I would have tied them up and left them. When it becomes a point of protecting people I love, to the point where I know if something isn't done right then and there, then options need to be weighed. The decision on my part was not one done lightly. I was angry, yes, I'll give you that. I was upset. But if I thought that there was any chance that they were just going to fade into obscurity, then no, I wouldn't have done what I did. We let the other one go. If this were really a discussion of Varys and I just killing to end things, we wouldn't have let the other one live. Well, I can't speak for Varys, I can speak for myself. If I thought he was any form of threat after the fact, I would have gone and hunted him down myself. But I didn't think he was a threat. The other two were. So to answer your question, as plainly as I can, that unless there is a scenario where one of our lives are threatened to the point where there is no escaping it, then no, I will not go to death as my first instinct. I think she hasn't looked up the entire time. I think she's very this is very measured and controlled. She's trying to pick her words as carefully as possible. You can tell she's a little mad.
So it's silent probably for a little bit longer than is comfortable. I don't think that this is a comfortable situation to begin with. Alora is definitely not comfortable. And she's definitely thinking about pushing her point or letting it go. But I think that she kind of just makes a decision that no, I brought the topic up, so I'm gonna drive it home. She looks up at Ivy, who's probably not looking at her, and maybe Alora's looking at whatever Ivy's playing with in her hand. And she goes, but that kind of is what I mean. We let Gringor go because I convinced you both not to kill them in the first place. He would have been dead if I didn't intervene, and then you wouldn't have known if he deserved a second chance or if he was a threat or not, because he would have been dead. Right?
She shrugs. I mean, I do distinctly remember him physically beating you up. Do you feel like you're going to be hunted for sport regularly?
No?
Then it's a non-issue. I gave you my word that unless you were being hunted for sport, I wouldn't go to murder first. That's not what I do anyways. If there comes a time where you're being hunted for sport, then we can have another discussion like this. But I promise you, Alara, and she actually looks up at you this time, and looks you in the eye, I promise you that if for some reason we have people bound and tied and they are defenseless, I will not murder them.
She nods.
I can make the same promise as well. I will not jump to that as a first conclusion, and I'll make every effort to pause and think through, instead of just acting in anger, if that situation should arise again. Which, it very well may never. But if it does...
No, I don't think it will. I just,
I do understand your concern. Trust me, I do. You're not alone in that. I just wanted to make that clear.
No. I appreciate it, honestly, from both of you, because I'm not entirely sure that you're both aware of how quickly you both can kind of jump to violence as like a first thought.
Unfortunately, I don't know how Varys grew up. I can kind of guess at this point. But that seems to be the way in which things were drilled into us. You don't stay a god queen without violence. Do you know the story of the Feywild?
She shakes her head no.
It was all violence. All the time. Until two people decided that it didn't need to be, and so they solved that with more violence. Violence is the way of the Feywild just as much as it is beauty and chaotic magic.
She kind of sighs, but she doesn't say anything.
I won't go into too much detail. I don't think that needs to happen right now. I'm sure with the more time we spend together, the more you'll learn. But I was groomed from a young age to do nothing but kill.
Her eyes go wide.
Or commit espionage and the like. Violence is what I know. It's what as I have said before, it's the main thing that I am good at. So, unlearning that is going to take me some time, unfortunately.
I think Ivy, laughs a little bit. There's a saying in the Feywild, violence for violence is the rule of the wild. And it's interesting because it's something that I just sort of agreed with. But I don't know. I'd like to see things a little bit more your way sometimes, Alara.
Me too.
She kind of half smiles. Just a little smirk, for a second. So I guess really I should be congratulating you both on and she makes a face. Not being as violent as you could have been.
It's a catch-22 situation for sure, but yeah.
I honestly think you're completely valid in calling this out.
Honestly, the longer you stay in the Feywild, the more you might be like, oh, Ivy could be much, much worse. Holy shit. But no, you don't swear, so it'd be more like, holy crud?
Crap.
Holy crap?
Holy cow. Whatever.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. I would say you should meet my family, but that will never happen, so...
I mean, I would like to... No, well, I can't say that because we're talking about no violence.
She looks at Varys and she goes, "'Cause they're dead."
Oh, yeah. Very.
She looks at you like she's gonna ask another question, and then she doesn't.
He smiles a bit. Awkwardly, kind of.
And she takes a really deep breath in.
Do you want to ask that question?
She stares at you.
I made sure of that.
They were really bad, right?
I don't know if they could get much worse, to be honest. And as he says that, he there's a part of him that you can tell is obviously recalling some pretty fucking awful shit. Because he slightly dissociates a little, recalling something, and then shakes his head.
Ivy nods sagely and goes, tax fraud.
Laura laughs.
Oh, I'm sure. I would not be surprised. I never really looked at our finances closely, to be honest.
Probably for the best.
Mm-hmm.
That would have just been the tipping point, I feel like.
He nods.
Ivy finally sets down the thing in her hand. And steps forward towards Alara and holds her hand out.
She puts her hand very confused,
Mm-hmm.
not hesitating to touch you, but what the very slowly.
She gives your hand a squeeze, 2 squeezes, and then lets it go. She's like, I know you don't like hugs, but I wanted to show. I feel like this could be a good...
It's like a hand hug.
Exactly, yes.
A hug for your hands.
Ferris very subtly puts his hands in his pockets.
Laura puts her hand out and does a squeezing motion. Hand Come, and she stands up. Let's stand in a circle.
He sits back a bit.
She's holding Ivy's other hand. Come on, everyone get in a circle.
Is this mandatory?
Yes.
It's our promise.
Ivy grabs you by the arm and tries to haul you up.
Ugh, he takes his hands out of his pockets and gets up.
I was gonna say, I'll roll a strength check with my -1 modifier.
Me too. We're both gonna try to pull you up. Did you get a natural 20? I got a 5. Congratulations.
I got a nat 20 for a 19, baby.
You beat me. I got a 16 on the die. So, well, 16 total.
Yeah, Ivy, with surprising force, hauls your ass up.
He's like, oh, shit.
Laura looks at Ivy with wide eyes like, oh, okay.
Ivy looks a little bit surprised in her own strength. She was not expecting it to work. The power of friendship.
The power of repressed anger.
Vested in me. She goes, no, I'm kidding. But she holds both of your hands and she gives them both the squeeze. And she goes, thank you for talking. And hopefully we won't have that problem anymore anyway. But if we do, we'll work on it together and we'll make decisions as a team.
Ivy nods.
And no unnecessary violence. She squeezes your hand, Varys.
Right. No unnecessary violence. What counts as unnecessary?
I was going to ask that.
She lets go of your hands. We'll figure it out together.
Right.
Is Varys messing up my hair unnecessary violence? Because I think that should count.
I could go back to suplexing you.
Did you suplex her? Where was I? Where did you
Basil? I feel like they fought a little bit in Basil's lab.
Yeah.
I could put you in headlock if you prefer.
No. That's also unnecessary violence.
Are you sure?
About the headlock?
Like, gets ready to go for Ivy.
Laura picks up her jacket off the bed.
She hides behind Alara.
Laura's gone. She goes and picks up her jacket off the bed and she starts walking down the big Ivy's huge room towards the door.
Ivy's huge room towards the door.
Yeah.
Is that the end of the conversation?
No, I mean, we can keep talking if we need to.
No, I think I'm all right. I just wanted to make sure.
We ended on a Seelie, so I feel like that's good, you know?
It is. I had this momentary premonition of us going off in different directions in anger when you brought it up at first, but no, I'm kidding.
Look at us, being adults.
Ivy scoops up Bia from the corner.
To Oladell.
Thanks so much for listening. We are grateful for the love and support.
If you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us too. A like, subscribe, or share goes a long way for small creators like us.
If you want more Tales of 3, head over to our Patreon, where we have a ton of free bloopers and episode extras, as well as some paid tiers with even more perks.
Speaking of, we'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you to our Green Fiend Patreon supporters, Michael and Jen Bear.
Also, if you join the Red Rogues for $5 a month, you'll get access to RDCC, an after show where we deep dive into character motivations, player reactions, and give a glimpse at our creative process.
And with that, our story pauses here for today. Join us next time as we continue our adventures, and remember, it's never too late to start your own.
Bye!
I gotta get a little yawn out before we get started. I guess we can probably go back to the estate. Does anybody want to do anything in the castle before we go back to the estate?
Yeah, Mischief and Mayhem. I want to blow shit up. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
Coming in real aggressive.
Coming in hot.
I just want to, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know, that I'm sure that's what Titania's expecting him to do. So he's just gonna
he's gonna lean into it.
He's gonna go for it.
Embrace the darkness.
What is that quote? It's like they already
Self-destruct.
think you're a monster.
Oh no, I can't stop yawning.
They already think you're monsters, and might as well.
And does anybody?
It's already having the internet troubles this time.
Yeah. Oh, what happened?
You went.
Did you hear me?
No.
No.
Oh man.
There's a glowing letter on the table, and Ivy stops in front of. Jesus Christ.
She bangs her mic around.
Mom.
Mommy. Oh, Laura and Varys are making out.
Getting it on.
Getting it on hot and heavy.
Used to Varys.
Making oatmeal.
Listen. Making oatmeal.
Oh. What?
That's what I just said. I said making oatmeal.
Oh, that hasn't been brought up in so long that it grossed me out for a second.
You're the one
Yeah.
who started it.
I know.
It's your fault.
What have I done?
What have I done? One shot level 20 with Danny Longlegs. Who's Danny Longlegs, Dusty?
Where do you see Danny Longlegs?
That was 5 months ago. I searched level.
I'm gonna have to describe it. I'm sad. I'm upsetty spaghetti now.
Why? It's canon now.
I'm upsetty spaghetti.
Good, I'm buying myself more time
Yeah, I noticed.
to figure out what I'm wearing.
Sad.
Okay, go.
Okay.
He's not wearing his dress
No.
his dress shoes anymore.
He doesn't wear dress shoes. It's not canon.
I haven't heard that in such a long
It's not
time.
canon.
The dress shoes?
Nope. Nah, he always wears his ass kicking outfit.
Dress
No,
shoes can be
he's
part of
just
an ass kicking
shrugs.
outfit.
No, you'd slip on and die.
Not necessarily.
They have
No,
no
you
grip.
could put like the little scuff things on the bottom.
Yeah,
of
he's
them
got little
so they
treader
don't
spikes
slide.
on them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It gives him another
Better to
inch.
kick people with. Oh god, he doesn't need another inch.
What color is the art? What did
Yes, there is a color. Let me double check.
Artificers. Artificers not mentioned in the list.
Should be.
Dusty?
1 second. Oh, it's fucking not. That's wild.
What color is not on the list?
Like a very light very
wow.
light. You can almost not even see
It
it, and some lights
matches.
green.
My aesthetic.
The very pale green. My defense is that I probably like copied and pasted this list from somewhere and then added colors
And
to
then just
it.
filled them in, yeah.
Probably.
So drunk.
Say, hi, I'm Varys.
I'm none of your business.
Hi, I'm Varys. Here's my Impala.